And a good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We want to thank those who have joined us. This is indeed the world famous Hit the Ropes radio show. It is episode number 348 of Hit the Ropes radio. Demetrius Stokes, Courtney McIntosh here with you. Darius Brown here as well on a wonderful Wednesday night. How you gentlemen doing this evening?
Doing good.
Yep. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Well, hey, we got a fun, interesting show on tap for you guys today. Thanks for those who are joining us. Obviously, we're going to cover all of the happenings in the world of professional wrestling. We're also going to get into a little fantasy wrestling draft here. Obviously, fantasy football season is upon us. A lot of you are partaking in some of your fantasy football drafts. And we are going to have a little bit of a fantasy wrestling draft with a unique twist on it. So we're going to get into that this evening, and it's just going to be a fun night. Again, thanks to those who are joining us in the chat room. Of course, the Hit the Ropes Radio podcast is brought to you by the VC.com. Be sure to check out the VC.com for all of your news, entertainment, sports, business talk, whatever it is, you are likely to find it at the VC.com. Well, guys, let's get right into it. Let's talk a little bit about the injuries that have been sustained to some of, as we're also joined by Shane Howard. Hey, the whole crew is here this evening. But let's get into a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about these injuries. And two main players, if you will, on the Raw roster have sustained injuries. Of course, these injuries will have huge Summerslam implications. Of course, we're talking about Bayley. We're talking about Dawson from the Revival. Want to get your take on this, guys. Start first with Bayley. Obviously, we know that if you watched Raw this week, that Nia Jax and Sasha Banks, what a surprise, will be wrestling to determine who meets Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam to replace Bayley. But how does this injury to Bayley affect the Raw Women's division, if at all? And we'll start Courtney, Shane, and then go to Darius.
Well, I think, in my opinion, the only person that this is unfortunate for is Bayley. We know that WWE is trying to push her as like their top women's babyface. I'm surely not going to miss her just because I find her rather vanilla and bland. It sucks for her, but I think we'll probably end up with a better match at SummerSlam. Not taking anything away from Bayley's wrestling. And like I said, it sucks for her, but I just think we'll get a more intriguing matchup with either Nia Jax or Sasha Banks wrestling Alexa Bliss. Because we've seen Alexa Bliss Bayley before, so.
All right, Shane.
Once the injury happened, I was kind of happy because I'm not feeling Bayley on the main roster. And then I'm hoping that this opens the door for Nia Jax, but I fear that we're going to see Sasha Banks, unfortunately.
Yes. Interesting that you talk a little bit about, and then Darius will let you chime in here, of course, that you talk about Bayley not being liked. She actually got booed in Toronto on Monday night. When she was talking about her injury, they were kind of booing her. And I know, obviously we live in this world of wrestling where the faces are booed, the heels are cheered. Darius, you could touch on the whole situation and maybe even give us your thoughts on that as well.
Yeah, well, the problem is NXT is a whole different environment. That's the can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine.
Yeah, so a whole different environment down in NXT, and I think it doesn't really translate to the bigger, broader audience of the WWE. So I'm happy that Nia Jax is possibly sliding in. I don't know. Is it just me, or are they like really pulling the restraints back on Nia Jax? It seems like they kind of push her. She's obviously in this main event scene, so she's flirting with it a lot. But it doesn't seem like she's really pushed over to the top. I mean, am I the only one that feels that she hasn't really got that management push behind them?
Nope, I feel the same way.
Okay. So it's good. It's all good news.
It's sad that we have to say another person's legitimate injury is good news, but I get the point that you guys are trying to make. Unfortunately, I don't think you guys are going to see the result that you want to see, which is Nia Jax being propelled into this spot. I mean, it would make sense, obviously, with her and Alexa Bliss having this relationship to maybe turn her face and have her go at Alexa Bliss, for the title at SummerSlam. But I just have a sneaking suspicion that we're going to see Sasha Banks.
Because I think in this scenario, they probably want the classic, babyface versus heel matchup. So I don't see them turning, Nia or Alexa Bliss face anytime soon. So, who's the face? Sasha. So,
yeah. I can see them building up Nia Jax. Maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe this is a slow burn where ultimately Nia Jax will maybe turn face and, face Alexa Bliss possibly at a WrestleMania or something like that. If Alexa holds the belt that long, I don't know that she would, but it'll be interesting to see if they pull the trigger now. Again, I'm pretty sure that it's going to be Sasha Banks that gets the shot at Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam, but we shall see. Let's move on and talk about Scott Dawson. Obviously, the Revival, WWE seemingly had big plans for them upon their call up from NXT, and then there was an injury. Now that they're back, and literally within a couple of weeks of them being back, Dawson is hurt yet again. Obviously, it looks like the tag team division is moving right along. It looks like we're going to get Sheamus and Cesaro versus Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins at SummerSlam for the Raw Tag Team Championships. But long term, going forward, this has quite the effect on the Raw Tag Team division. Let's go, Dare, Shane, Courtney. Give us your thoughts on the Dawson injury and how this may actually deflate some of the momentum and the steam that the Revival may have had.
I don't think it deflates it that much, just because Matt Hardy and the Revival are doing a good job of keeping it alive on Twitter. So they're going back and forth for those who are paying attention on social media. So that helps. But it seems like I don't know who was injured in NXT, but it seems like they're injured often. So that would be more of a concern. Not this time particularly, but is this thing going to be a reoccurring issue?
Yeah, Shane, what are your thoughts on that?
It's unfortunate because they just came back from injury, and we were getting a good feel of this feud that was beginning between these guys. So it kind of sucks that it's happened. I'm curious to know how things play out now with one tag team basically being on the shelf. What does this mean for SummerSlam? Because we were building towards a matchup between those two teams, whether it was just going to be them alone or Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson get involved. So I'm curious to know what they're going to do now. But it's kind of unfortunate because I do like the Revival. It just seems like they can't really get the momentum and keep it going because there's some type of injury.
Yeah, definitely. Courtney, what are your thoughts?
Well, I really like the Revival. I think this is unfortunate, but I think I think it'll stay relevant, the relevance on the Revival depends on how long he's out. When I was reading yesterday, I believe it said like 4 to 6 months, maybe. So I think I haven't checked today, and I do believe that is what I read yesterday. But I think the longer he's out, the longer, the less and less they stay relevant. Because if you think about that, that's almost WrestleMania time when by the time he'll be back, if that's the correct time frame. So, well, no, not really.
Yeah.
So, but
if that's indeed the time frame, I actually agree with you, Courtney. I think that their relevance diminishes big time because they are extremely talented. Particularly, they're one of the better tag teams on the mic. I mean, they kind of instantly came in and they do really good mic work, and it does take some steam out of their momentum if they're really out another 4 to 6 months. I know it wasn't 4 to 6 months. I think it was like 4 to 6 weeks the first time, but now you're talking about 4 to 6 months. You're going into almost 2018, and you've seen the Revival wrestle maybe 2 or 3 matches of significance on Raw. That might be a problem, so it'll definitely be interesting to see. It's funny, everybody's applauding Bayley's injury. Everybody's saying that the Revival, Scott Dawson's injury is unfortunate. You guys are very cruel individuals, man, because Bayley is a very nice young lady. She likes to hug people.
That's the problem.
No, that's not. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? She's a hugger, man. She's a hugger. Have some compassion for the hug.
He's too darn nice. It's just like how Cena was so darn happy-go-lucky, even though he lost an opportunity to go for the title because Shinsuke beat him. He's like too happy about it. She's too nice. Sorry. That's why they booed Rocky Maivia. He was just too nice. And that's the same thing that's happened to Jason Jordan. Even though I'm hoping Jason Jordan's niceness is a ploy.
Yeah, me too. I really hope that's the case with Jason Jordan too. But I think like with Bayley's case, she's been built this certain way ever since she started in NXT. So it's really no way you can like change her character in another direction because unlike, John Cena, we saw different iterations of Cena. We saw Dr. Thugonomics. We saw Ruthless Aggression before that. And then we got the All-American semi-rapping Patriot. But with Bayley, she's just been the exact same the entire time she's been in WWE. So I think it'll be kind of hard to maybe add like a mean streak. Like if you think about it, the kendo stick match, should have done that. But it did, I think, the total opposite. And which is turned people, slightly against her. And you could see she was rattled by the boos on Raw. Apparently they weren't happy backstage at all. But I mean, you can't necessarily control a crowd reaction. But I think they're at a turning point. What they're gonna do with Bayley and this injury, while it's unfortunate for her, and I wouldn't necessarily were applauding it. I think it actually could be good for her, giving her some time off TV and, kind of reinventing herself.
It is interesting. She had a little bit of the, I don't know if you guys remember kind of early on with Roman Reigns, how he used to be really affected by the boos. Like it really bothered him because, probably wasn't something that he was used to at the time. Definitely Bayley. Bayley was an absolute fan favorite in NXT. And now she's coming on Raw and she's getting some of that resistance. And she really did. You could tell by her facial expressions that she actually, oh my God, took the booing personally. Darius, you brought up something interesting before we move on, and I want you to kind of elaborate on it. And we've talked about it in the past. And that's this, I guess, difference in the type of fan as it relates to NXT and then coming up to the main roster. Because I always thought, my perception at least, was that, people that watched NXT and the WWE universe were like one and the same, but it's actually being proven now that these are two completely different fan bases just by seeing some of the stars that are coming up and kind of like falling flat. I don't know if Bayley's falling flat because Bayley's had some success and she's come up.
I would say
Raw.
she has as a character.
No.
But not her career path, but I would say as a character, she's fallen flat.
Well, I don't think the fans like happy-go-lucky, and I think that was something Shane was saying. Shane was saying like that's the problem with her. I don't think those characters resonate with the WWE universe anymore. I mean, I guess this isn't the 80s and the 90s when the guys that were smiling and hugging people, they were popular. But you see guys like Sami, even though Sami Zayn does resonate, WWE just doesn't push him. They just don't like him for whatever reason. I shouldn't say that, but look at like Ty Dillinger. Even look at Nakamura to an extent. They're kind of starting to let him be himself, and you're kind of seeing the fan base like him a little bit. I shouldn't say they always like them, but you kind of see the fan base getting behind him a little bit more. But I mean, the only people that have come up recently from NXT that really, really resonate, you got Kevin Owens, you got Charlotte, you got Sasha Banks. I think Nia Jax is doing okay. I think her character works well. But after that,
can we throw Neville in there, even though he came up like way before them?
Yeah, wasn't he like the first? He's like the Moses of NXT call-ups. So isn't he like the pioneer of NXT call-ups? But there's you talked about this difference in fan base, and I guess we're seeing that truly exists. I didn't think it did.
Yeah, and we see the fan base that you see in NXT. It's a very small, intimate setting, and you get snippets of that during the hardcore stuff, like right after WrestleMania, the night after WrestleMania, where those hardcore people are in some of the Chicago towns and things like that. But when you blow that up from 2,000, or less, I forget the arena size there, up to 15,000, you're gonna get more general fans, more fans where they're not there you see the same people week in and week out down at NXT. The wrestlers know everyone, so they become very, very familiar. It's a small settings, very intimate settings, so it's easier for them to bond. It's easier for them to get behind specific people because you're seeing these guys develop right in front of your eyes, whereas the WWE, they expect you as a whole to already be developed. We're supposed to already have this awesome character, these awesome storylines. They're just supposed to pop out of nowhere. And I think that truly is the difference between your hardcores who are in this nice, small environment versus where you're getting the same people each and every week for the most part versus they're taking this on tour. So some people probably haven't seen the WWE live in 2 or 3 years, just see them occasionally on TV, and now they're supposed to get behind this guy that already had a following with the same people each and every week down in Florida. So it's, just like the ECW crowd. If you remember back then, same people in the ECW arena coming in, they, Sandman, Taz, all these guys hugely over. They go to WCW, they go to WWF. Well, what's wrong? They're not getting the same push and the same momentum. Well, we don't have the romantic setting and the reason to get behind them as we do in these smaller venues.
Yeah, but wasn't and that's a good point. I get what you're saying. Wasn't the ECW guys' lack of push more to do with, Vince kind of liking his guys more than, putting those guys over? He gave them jobs, sure, because they had some value to him. But what outside of Rob Van Dam, what guy in Austin? Obviously, Austin was in the ECW, but what guy came over and really was a main event guy?
Yeah, that's
Well,
what I was
you
going
gotta-
to ask because, the only guy I can think of was really RVD, who came over. I mean, look.
Like
You,
original, because
yeah,
Austin wasn't
yeah.
really an original. I mean, he was there. Mick Foley was there for a time. All, both of those guys came over and and had obviously were world champions. But RVD is really the only original that comes to mind that actually like became a main eventer in WWE.
Well, that's the problem because you have the stereotype. I don't know the correct word here, but the idea that Vince McMahon doesn't push people he doesn't create. But if you go back to Taz, when he came in, he beat Kurt Angle in his very first match at the Royal Rumble and was projected. We thought he was going to go somewhere, but the complaint is he didn't really catch on to the quote unquote WWE style before he really got injured. The injuries caught up and got pushed out the door. So, and then we seen Raven, who was big in ECW, went over to WCW, didn't really have the same success.
He was all right though, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
he was
a flop,
but he wasn't the world champion in main event where he was God in ECW, and he came in and he was a good hand in WCW, and he also was in WWE for a minute too. After that, way after Scotty Flamingo and Johnny Polo, and much like Taz, didn't amount to much after that. So it could be Vince's prejudice. That obviously is a major factor, but I also think it's the same relatable thing. It's hard for if they didn't do 92 vignettes to get people hyped for you, what they used to do back in the late 90s and early 2000s, then you were kind of lost and on your own.
Yeah, because you got to think when it comes to Vince and his guys, like AJ Styles just recently said that Vince thought his Royal Rumble reaction was a fluke, and I'm guessing that on his debut he wasn't really going to get pushed the way he was, just because Vince thought the reaction he got from the crowd was a fluke. But I mean, we see it's not a fluke. And, AJ is probably one of the top 5 guys in the world right now. So.
Yeah, definitely. So it's interesting, man. Just that dynamic. I think Darius is on to something with the whole intimacy of the NXT crowds, versus coming to the much larger platform once you're caught up to the main roster. So, good stuff, guys. Hopefully, Bailey, Scott Dawson, they come back sooner than later. WWE really can't afford to lose some of their main stars, and those two, are on the rise for sure. So let's get into a little bit of this fantasy here, wrestling booking draft thing that we got going on here. I think it'll be interesting.
You're really selling it.
Yeah. So obviously, as I alluded to earlier in the show, fantasy football drafts are upon us. Some of you guys are scouting and preparing. Maybe you've already drafted. I for one am not a proponent of drafting before preseason games are played, but I know some people in leagues do actually have drafts this early. But we're going to do a little fantasy draft wrestling style. And I'm going to have Shane lay out the rules because I'm glad you're here, because I was going to be struggling with giving the rules for this thing had you not been on, because you've made this tough, which makes it fun, but you've made it kind of difficult. So lay down the ground rules here, my brother.
All right. Well, Darius and I tried this on a show that shall not be talked about, but it's all right. You're starting your own promotion. We have 10 picks. Your picks could be male, female. If you want to go valet, if you want to go manager, that is fine. But
tag team.
You could go tag team, exactly.
And tag teams do count as one, right?
One pick, yeah. You can get strategic. And you can load up your promotion with tag teams, and if you want to break them off as singles wrestlers down the line, hey, more power to you. But the one thing was that we were not picking any current or former world champions in any of the major promotions. So if we're talking about WWE, TNA, WCW, if they're still wrestling, and they were back then, ECW, New Japan, Pro Wrestling Noah. I think
does Pro Wrestling Noah count as a major promotion, Shane?
I mean, does TNA count as a major promotion?
Okay, TNA, ROH, WWE, I get. New Japan. Okay, yeah. But Pro Wrestling Noah.
Noah's what, number 2 over there? Come on.
I don't know anybody. I wouldn't even be drafted anybody from Pro Wrestling Noah.
Okay.
I mean, just,
So they could not be a world champion in those promotions at any time. So that means that we can't pick like a John Cena or an AJ Styles or an EC3 or a Kenny Omega.
Wait a minute. This means that nobody can pick Jinder Mahal?
That sucks.
Nobody can pick Jinder Mahal.
He was going to be my number 1 pick.
Yes. Hallelujah. I like this.
By the way, Jinder and Randy had a very good match. That was their best match of
their did. Yeah, it was their best match of their feud last night.
Yeah, I just saw the RKO. But yeah, I agree. Sure, I'll take your word for it.
So that's the one. That's the one caveat. It can't have been a world champion.
Yeah.
So what does this mean? You have a bunch of mid-carders or main event talent who has yet to win a strap. So I don't know.
Okay, so we're only talking about like the heavyweight champion, not like Intercontinental TV champion.
No mid-card titles.
Like US champion. Okay.
World champion.
Right.
Okay.
And this applies to the women as well too. If they have been women's champ at a major promotion, they do not.
Right.
They cannot be drafted.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly. So if we're talking about like a Shine isn't a major promotion, or like a Smash Wrestling, since they were in Canada. WWE was in Canada. You saw the sign for Smash Wrestling. Those are not your major promotions.
So we're talking about pretty much WWE Women's Champs and Knockout Champs. If they were one of those two, then they don't qualify.
Right, because ROH says they
have like 4 women.
Well, not necessarily, but
that's true.
You are now a Japanese wrestling savant,
right.
So you go ahead with your Joshi wrestlers.
Right. I'm expecting you to take all New Japan guys. Real quick
before
we go,
I'm looking at my list and I have like 7 people on here from New Japan.
I remember being at a fantasy football draft. I knew a guy who was a humongous Miami Hurricanes fan. And literally every single player that he drafted went to Miami, which is crazy to even think about it. You could fill a fantasy roster with all dudes from one college. That just shows, how the U got down back in the day. Then he messed up when he tried to draft Ray Lewis, and we're like, bro, you can't draft individual defensive players. We're not doing that kind of draft. But I digress. So how are we going to do the draft order here? I'm assuming that we cannot duplicate people, correct? We cannot. It served just like an actual fantasy draft. Do we want to go in the order? Because I don't know how you guys. My screen shows Courtney, Shane, Darius, and me. So do we want to snake it?
I think we could do that order
in that way. Oh, I'm sure you could. I'm sure we can. Because how it gives you the number 1 pick.
I did a randomizer.
Oh, okay. Even better.
It doesn't really help you as much, Stokes, but it hurts me.
Because I'm 4 still. It's a randomizer.
It hurts me the most. So we have Mac, then Darius, then Stokes, then me.
Okay. All right. We have to remember that as we go. All right. So let's get started. I think this will be fun. those in the chat room, if you guys think of some people, throw some suggestions out because I didn't scout this very well. I promise to do better in a fantasy football draft. But Courtney, we're going to make this. We're not going to do like a fantasy football draft where you got 2 minutes to make a pick.
All right.
We're going to try to go through this quickly because this is an hour show or so, hour-ish. So, Courtney, you take the floor. You got the first pick. Who is the number one pick in the HTR fantasy wrestling draft?
Oh, I'm so happy that I got the number one pick for promotion MaxCW. So
Maxi? Like Maxi Pad?
No, man, not with an X.
That's the lead sponsor. Hey, man.
Okay, Mac. All right. Mac Wrestling. That's gonna be the name of my promotion.
Mac Wrestling.
Hamburger.
Okay, so
I thought it was gonna be like Cena Nation with barring that headband you got on your face right now.
I thought he was gonna take John Cena. He put on the Never Give Up band, but
that was actually for Bailey. Never give up. So
okay.
For my number one pick, a guy who's never been a world champion, and currently my favorite wrestler.
I know who it's gonna be.
One, Kenny Omega. And Shane, you excluded him, and I was shocked because you excluded him, but he's never been a world champion. He's been a tag team champion, and now he's the US champion, but he's never been a world champion.
Oh, I didn't do my homework.
And we gotta trust him because he's a Japanese savant, as you alluded to.
No, since he doesn't wrestle in the United States, nobody knows if this is true or not.
Hey, I went to Wikipedia, you know what I'm saying? The number one source for wrestling information.
Of course.
That is true. He's been their junior heavyweight champion.
Yes.
That's my fault. When I was doing my research, I skipped right over the junior parts.
So the number one pick, the cleaner, Kenny Omega.
We should probably write these down. But okay, cool.
I got it. Darius got it.
All right. Darius, the floor is yours. I think you are the number two pick.
No, the number two pick with the number one overall roster, of course. You know what? Since this is a new draft and no one has heard my picks before, I am going out with the legend in the making, Mr. Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb will be my number one pick. If you don't know who Jeff Cobb is, number one, you need to excuse yourself as a wrestling host.
Peace.
And then while you're excusing yourself, Stokes,
I'm out.
While you're
Cobb,
Googling him,
Jeff Cobb sounds like the dude that like sells car insurance.
Hey, and if you don't get that insurance, then he will pick you up and suplex you. You thought Angle could have some suplexes? Google the top 10 moves from Mr. Athletic Jeff Cobb. He is a heavyweight. He is Brock Lesnar, had a baby with Kurt Angle, and you got this dude. He's also known as Matanza Cueto. I don't have Spanish skills, but it's something like that. In Lucha Underground, he is a man beast.
Man, this dude is huge. I'm actually watching that YouTube video right now.
He's a beast.
He's a Lucha Underground guy.
He's a Lucha Underground guy.
I forgot all about Lucha Underground.
Yeah, he was scouted by the WWE. He was in developmental or a tryout, and they didn't sign him for whatever reason. So he's gone to do nicely in the
He's signed now to the Mr. Wikipedia promotion.
That's right. I snatched him up.
So we got Jeff Cobb number two.
We got Jeff Cobb as the number two pick. Interesting. Well, I think the pick is mine at number three here, and I am going to go with a man who has seemingly taken the WWE by storm. He is maybe one of the top guys in WWE right now. I'm going to take Mr. Braun Strowman as my pick for the Stokes Wrestling Federation, the SWF. So I'm going to take Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman is my pick. And I think I stole Shade's pick by his reaction, which makes me love my pick even more.
Stole the top pick on my board. Oh,
I thought
All right.
Darius was going bronze for sure, but curveball.
no, I had a little birdie tell me he was going to pick this Jeff. All right.
Mr. Jeff Cobb. Mr. Jeff Cobb.
Mr. Jeff Cobb to you.
All right. So,
Hey,
damn. Oh, my lord. All right. So I can't pick Braun because he's not off the board. This throws me in a loop. All right. So
Did you not have a number 2?
I got number 2, but that's why he's number 2. You know. I don't think he's up there with Braun Man. All right.
Holy all right. So wait a minute. I gotta say something about Shane's pick. Hey, this
He hasn't made a pick.
Jeff
mean
Cobb,
Darius's
man.
pick.
Yeah, I'm
Darius's
sorry. Darius's pick.
Yeah.
You know
Okay.
the future.
I like, do you know something we don't know?
All right, man. Hey,
Go ahead, Cordy.
good pick, man. Good pick.
Okay,
All right,
go ahead,
just
Shane.
watching
Who's your pick?
I know it's a good pick. That's why I picked him.
All right, so my first pick is going to be the second name on my board. I'm going to go with a guy from TNA, Mr. Eli Drake. Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were gonna say EC3. I'm like, hold on. I think he's been world champ. So
No.
Okay.
Eli Drake.
All right.
Eli Drake. Shane, you're on the back-to-back. You got 2 consecutive picks here.
Yes, I do. All right, so let me get them off the board now. I'm gonna go to a tag team because I have a pick for a while. I'm gonna take the Young Bucks.
Oh my gosh, language!
Oh my bad. What's wrong?
Really get upset.
He wanted some of that Spencer's deal. He was hardcore into that one.
Mm-hmm.
Young Bucks are off the board. Go ahead, Stokes.
All right. Young Bucks are off the board. All right. Well, I'm gonna also go tag team here, and I'm gonna take some guys who have been on fire in WWE of late. They don't currently hold a title, but they are still one of the best tag teams in the WWE. I am going to take the Usos as my second round pick here. So I'm going to go Usos here with Braun Strowman. I think I'm building a good foundation here at the SWF.
Hey, their new theme song is legit, by the way.
Yeah. Is that them rapping on their own song? I think it is, right?
So.
Okay. All right. So that would mean that we're going to is it Darius here?
Yep.
That's right.
All right, Darius, where we going?
All right. Since I already got the obvious heavyweight champion of the world, I need to go to the opposite end of the spectrum and get the women's champion of the world here. And I'm going to go with the name you guys probably haven't heard of because I've reached deep. I got some intel. I got some intel, and mine is a superstar by the name, just started training, but a rookie is so good. I got to pick her up. Miss Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey. She's training now with her rest of her 4 horsewomen, and I'm bringing in Ronda Rousey to the Big D Wrestling Federation.
Big D Wrestling. Oh my gosh. Wait a minute. So Rousey is officially training to be a professional wrestler.
That is the word on the street.
Yep. At
Who is she training? Who is she training with?
Brian Kendrick School. That's what I read today.
Yeah. So that's their hand. The WWE is handing her. So I would anticipate her being at WrestleMania.
You said they're doing what?
Well, that's Brian Kendrick's their go-to guy to train people on a one-to-one basis. So,
Like even
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay, so he's kind of like the
and that worked out
handpicked.
really well, so they decided to use her for Ronda Rousey.
All right. Well, all right, Courtney, you
that's a lot different than Darius picked when we were going back and forth, in private because nobody heard it.
Wow, Ronda Rousey. Wow, okay. So we're going back to back here. Courtney will be ending round 2 and beginning round 3.
All right, so I have a myriad of choices. that I can choose from. Shane did throw a wrench in my plans, but I'm gonna stay Bullet Club and stay the Elite and go with Marty Scurll.
Oh, damn! Oh.
Who?
I'm like, I don't know. You know, I don't watch New Japan. So.
The villain, Marty Scurll.
Marty Scurll has had amazing matches with Zack Sabre Jr.
Yes.
Who?
He uses an umbrella, kind of like Jack Gallagher. You know,
he is not the villain that you want. He is the villain that you need.
I don't really need a villain.
Yeah, I'm good.
That's weird. Why do I need that?
Breaks people. Yeah. He does this thing with like breaking people's fingers. Watch Marty. He's a good guy. I had him on my board. Good pick. Okay. Go ahead. Again.
Cool. All right. Well, Courtney, you got 2 in a row. Who's your next pick?
All right. So, at my next pick, I was thinking about going one of 2 ways here because one of these have just entered my board. Well, actually, both of them have just entered my board. Thinking about them, but I'm gonna go women. And I'm going to go Asuka.
Now, we know Asuka is the NXT champ, but she hasn't held any women's championships in any other major promotions. Is that correct?
I mean, maybe she comes from Japan. I don't know what promotion she wrestled for in Japan because nobody watches it stateside, so it's legal.
Okay. All right, Asuka. Asuka was on my board too, so...
Shane looks like he's looking it up. Do you have the answer, Shane? Does she hold any?
New Japan doesn't have a women's division, do they?
I don't think so.
She was the JWP Openweight champion.
That doesn't count.
Yeah, that's
yeah. So it's good. That's a good pick. Go ahead.
We're good. Okay, so now we're moving on to Darius here. Darius, back to you, sir.
All right. So for the Apex Professional Wrestling League,
Apex he changed the name. Thank God.
We got to keep this steady with solid talent and a name you all are familiar with. All of you will be going to cross it off your list. Let me sign up the bro of all bros, Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle is coming to the Apex Professional Wrestling.
Who are these? What are you trying to rebuild GFW? What are you doing here? There's like,
what are you talking about? Do you not know who the bro of all bros is? Mr. Matt Riddle?
No,
former UFC fighter?
Yeah. Okay.
Come on.
What's what you taking these MMA converts?
Hey, they breed the best beasts, so I've got to go with it.
Yeah, you're going to see that on August 26th when Floyd Mayweather floors Conor McGregor, but that's another story for another
that's
day.
A different conversation. We're gonna get there. We're gonna go down that rabbit hole. But yes, Matt Riddle is my number 3 pick. He's the number 3 overall for all federations. Go ahead and do your homework.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna take a guy here with my 3rd pick who He's listed on the GFW roster, so I'm a little confused, but I'm gonna take him. I saw him here looking at the roster, and I'm pretty sure he is not a world champion. Former mid-carder in the WWE. I am going to take Shelton Benjamin with my 3rd round pick because ain't no stopping me now.
Except injuries. Okay.
When healthy, we all know Shelton Benjamin can go.
Okay.
And we're assuming here 100% health.
Oh, so this is like NBA 2K where you can turn off the pre-existing injuries?
Correct. The key word here, the first word in the title of this episode is fantasy. So we're going to ride that wave throughout the rest of the show.
Wow. Okay.
You should have said like 2010 version of Shelton Benjamin or something.
Nah, well, you
can't do that. You can't do that.
All right, so we're back-to-back picks here for Shane. So let's hear it.
Well, the Usos are off my board, and so is Marty Scurll. I'm gonna go woman again. Well, woman for the first time, I should say. I'm gonna go with Nia Jax.
Good pick, Nia Jax. And you are.
And back to me.
Yeah.
I am going to.
You're starting the 4th round. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm taking Ember Moon with my 4th pick.
Wow. Building that women's division. I see you.
Caribbean Playboy loves the ladies.
Yes, indeed. We know that to be true. I think I know where I'm going with my pick here. I just want to confirm one thing before I do. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and take him. I want to take the super athlete Rusev with my 4th round pick. Extremely talented big man. Him and Braun Strowman could do some damage in that promotion. The SWF. So I'm going to take Rusev. Rusev is my pick. So that would be now shifting to Mr. Darius Brown.
Big D.
Me, I'm on. Okay, in the 4th round of the fantasy wrestling draft, I am going to go with
some random name we've never heard of. Bill Jenkins from the.
Hey, how did you know? Bill has great experience. He's traveled around the world. I am actually going to go with the first lady of professional wrestling and her hubby, the Canellises. They will be my 4th round draft pick. Let's bring some love.
The Canelli.
Not in super sexy professional wrestling league. It is not. It's Canellises, and they are my 4th pick to bring some love to the promotion.
All right.
That was strategic. You get Maria.
What you get Maria, you get the valet, and it all counts as like one because they kind of are a package deal. Very, very clever. Very clever. Gotta give you your props there. All right, Courtney, you are ending the 4th round and starting the 5th.
All right, so I'm going to take a guy who I'm surprised none of you guys have, actually jumped on. I'm going to go Cesaro with my 4th pick.
I thought about Cesaro. Okay.
All right, and so now I'm going to establish my tag team division with some certified beasts. They're big, they're tough, they're mean.
Enzo
and Cass.
I'm going to go with Authors of Pain.
Oh, wow. 5th round? Wait a minute. Okay. I ain't going to say nothing.
Off in the 3rd round. What are you saying?
Listen, Shelton Benjamin can go, okay?
Yeah,
Shelton Benjamin can go.
That's true, but the Authors of Pain are just big and they beat people up, man. I mean.
Okay. All right. Okay.
It's moi? It's me? 5th round?
It is on you, yes.
Okay. I can feel that. So I'm gonna go ahead with my 5th round pick, and I'm gonna pick up the son of the Olympic gold medalist, Mr. Jason Jordan. He fits my wrestling pedigree, and I've got an awesome promotion building. Jason Jordan is my 5th round pick.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Are you gonna change that to Wonder Bread Pro Wrestling?
No. This is the Elite Pro Wrestling. Yeah, EPW.
Yeah.
Elite Pro. Wait a minute, I thought it was Apex. You keep changing the promotion every round. He's already had 5 names. All right. So it's probably a silly question. I'm going to assume Nakamura has won a title in New Japan. Would that be accurate?
Let's see.
Was Nakamura ever New Japan World Champion?
That's a shame. Y'all don't know.
Why don't y'all know this?
Mr. New Japan, I'm asking you.
I'm pretty sure he has.
He is the 3-time IWGP Heavyweight Champion.
Yep.
I would say absolutely. He had to be. Okay. I was going to say, because if he hadn't been, I'm like, man, we really like drop the ball here.
Yes, he's the youngest champion in their history.
Youngest champion in history. How old is Nakamura? Inquiring minds would like to know.
He's 37.
Okay, he's not super old. Well, I'm going to I'm going to go back to the tag team division since nobody has taken the longest reigning WWE tag team champions ever. I'm going to take the New Day as my 5th round pick. I'm going to go New Day.
I would consider a PR team as well.
Yeah, you know, hey, and we need to be entertained.
And he got merch movers too. I applaud that pick.
Come on now. Yes. I got the Usos. I got that day one-ish, that shirt. I don't even know what that means, but I want one of those shirts. So I got some merchandise movers here. Sheldon Benjamin can't move nothing, but that's all right. It's long as he's healthy, which he is here. Shane on the back-to-back, end of the 5th, start of the 6th.
All right, so this person, current WWE wrestler. Oh wait, no, damn! I just remembered. Oh, scratch that. One of them.
Well, you must have found out he's a champion.
Yeah, the minute I said current WWE wrestler, I'm like, oh yeah. He won the Universal Champion. I was gonna pick Finn Balor.
Finn Balor, yep. Yeah. I looked at him too and I said, well, it was like a one-day reign, but by definition, he's been a world champion. So yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to then select. Sticking with WWE, I'm gonna get some high flyers in this mix. So I'm gonna go with Akira Tozawa.
Interesting pick. Yeah.
All right. And to also go on a newly added name to my board, I'm going to go to do some New Japan stuff. I'm going to take Kushida.
Kushida. No, he died.
He comes to the ring in like a bubble vest and a denim shirt with some hoop shorts on, but he can wrestle.
Huh, cool. All right, I'll take your word for it. My next pick here. Clearly, I'm not picking any women. So that's not nothing against the ladies. No, I might actually. This is my 6th pick, correct?
Yeah.
I am actually going to. I'm going tag team heavy here, man. I'm going to NXT for this one. And I'm going to take Sanity. I'm going to take Sanity as my 6th round pick. See, you notice what I'm doing here.
Who's the tag team in Sanity?
All of them.
I'm about to say they're fighting. They're doing like New Day. I can change my pick.
No, I haven't watched.
They're fighting Authors of Pain at NXT Brooklyn for the tag team titles. I think it's Killian Dane and who's the other guy that's not Eric Young?
Nobody knows. Great pick.
Okay, well then in that case I'm changing my pick.
What? No, you already headed it to the commish.
We ain't passed it on yet.
Hey, you ran up there already, man.
I'm going to be.
They put on the t-shirts. They put the Stokes
nobody's announced their pick yet, so I'm going to denounce my pick of Sanity.
Wow.
I renounce my rights to Sanity. Wow. I'm going to stay in NXT and take a young man that has a lot of talent. I'm going to take Aleister Black.
See, that's not fair. That ain't even fair.
Aleister Black is who I'm going to take.
Wow, that's how the game's played.
Nobody laid down no ground rules. I renounce my throne. I renounce the pick.
Wow.
Aleister Black.
Can I pick before you start changing and stealing people's picks any further?
Were you going to take Aleister Black?
Eventually.
Oh, okay.
He's like a 9th or 10th round pick on my board, but whatever.
Says the guy who took Richard Wilson in the first round.
That's right. You better Google Richard Wilson. That's a bad dude.
Sounds like my banker.
let's get to my pick. I believe, isn't it my pick?
No,
I'm eager.
It's my pick, right?
No, you don't skip
Oh,
me.
okay. Yeah, sorry.
You give up. Give up over there.
No.
My 6th round draft pick is Evilise.
Oh, you
Evilise from Lucha Underground. Yes,
Out
sir.
of my war room. Get out of my war room, you.
Yes, my talent at the Superstar Professional Wrestling team is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Go ahead, Mac. The floor is all yours now.
All right, so Stokes, I'm gonna take a little bit of your strategy and build my tag team division. You initially passed on them, but I'm gonna take Sanity. I mean, I'm filling my tag team division. I'm adding a woman, so I am gonna take Sanity.
So that includes Nikki Cross.
Yeah.
Oh crap! I should have kept the big dig. Golly.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, okay, but I like Aleister Black. So.
You can make a trade after.
Yeah,
you can make a
I
trade.
renounce Courtney's pick, and I'm gonna take.
Well, I don't think that's the same thing as a trade.
All right. Hey, Courtney, you're back again for round 7.
So the 7th pick, I'm also going to go another tag team, and I'm going to go back to New Japan, back to the Bullet Club. I'm going to draft the Sons of Ming, the Gorillas of Destruction.
Mm.
I know
who Ming is.
Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. Tonga Loa is actually Camacho from WWE.
What's a Camacho?
Oh, I remember Camacho with the bicycle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take your word for it. All right. And Darius, the floor is yours, my friend.
The floor is mine, and I'm going to continue my Lucha Underground theme. I'm taking over Lucha Underground. I'm going to go with their champion, Pentagon Dark. Mr. Pentagon Jr.
Is Lucha Underground considered major?
No, I would consider it a TV show. It's a Telemundo.
Okay.
Hey, that's the way they built the show up. It's a Telemundo.
Okay.
All right.
I'll take it. Pentagon Jr. breaking arms.
Well, I think it's my pick here, and I won't be renouncing this pick. I'm going to stick to my injury theme. And I'm going to take the top guys. I'm going to take the Revival because when healthy, along with the Usos and the New Day, you're talking about a tag team division here, baby. So I'm going to take the top guys. I'm going to take the Revival here with I think it's my 7th pick.
Yes, that would be your 7th pick.
Yes.
You're going anti-WWE here with all these tag teams.
Okay.
I am. And then we are Mr. Shane Howard with the back-to-back, end of 7th, start of 8th round.
All right. So 7th round pick, I am taking a happy-go-lucky guy, regardless of what I said earlier, Mr. Sami Zayn.
Mm.
He's technically not a champion, huh? Because he was a champion as El Generico. Is that why?
He was never.
He was world champion as El Generico.
Oh no! I'm just asking. I don't think maybe he wasn't because I would have took Sammy much earlier had I because I thought he was world champion before, but
I thought so too. But even if that was the case, I mean,
it's a different character. Okay, I got you. I rock with that.
I don't think we can go.
But I don't think El Generico was. Yeah, I don't think he was champion though.
No, he was TV champion in ROH.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
So you have another pick here, sir.
All right, so since we said that Lucha Underground, because we're just making crap up as we go, assume that Lucha Underground is a TV show, then my next pick is the man known as Prince Puma, a.k.a. Puma.
A.k.a. what?
No.
Ricochet.
Ricochet, yeah. That's a good pick. That's a good pick. All right, so I'm gonna go to 205 Live here, and I got the Usos. They kind of like Samoan brothers. I got the New Day. They are brothers. So I'm going to, you know, I believe in giving the black man opportunity in wrestling, something WWE does not believe in. So I'm going to take Cedric Alexander with my 8th round pick. Cedric Alexander.
Good pick.
My pick. All right. Darius, ball is in your court.
This is where it gets tricky now. The last remaining spots. I'm going to go with the veteran presence to lead my young roster. And I'm going to go with Carlito. We haven't seen Carlito in a minute. He's going to be fresh again, and he's got the charisma, and he's going to take my my audience by storm. So I'm going to go with Carlito.
He was on my list.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
All
right, man. Do your thing. This is on the back-to-back, Courtney. Into round 8, start of round 9.
All right, so I'm trying to like get a good mix of guys from a different size, but last 3 picks might as well take some flyers on some guys. So I'm gonna go down to NXT, and I'm gonna draft the king of the cruiserweights, Neville.
Wait a minute.
Nope, never been a world champ. Not as Adrian. I mean, he was in it, but we didn't count
NXT champ, and he's the cruiserweight champ. He's the cruiserweight champion of the world.
No, come on.
Okay, all right, fine. All right. So Darius.
Oh no, I got pick number 9.
No, I thought you already did. You you didn't say anybody before Neville? Oh, okay, no. My bad. Okay,
all right.
Kind of steal.
So I think I'm gonna go to Lucha Underground, the Telemundo, a la Mexico, and I'm gonna draft a gringo. One Johnny Mundo, aka John Morrison.
I guess so. ECW.
He hasn't been a champ.
ECW doesn't count.
That's a major world title in WWE. It was.
It was always number 3.
Come on.
It was the IC title was higher than the.
I mean, ECW. I mean,
okay.
I don't know. I kind of side with Stokes here.
Dog. I mean, the IC and the US titles were probably higher than the ECW champion.
I disagree with that, but
probably not.
We'll let him have it.
Are we gonna allow it? Are we gonna? I mean, we're not gonna.
Part of won that title. He was calling himself a world champion.
Yeah, I mean, we'll let him have it. We'll let him have it.
You know what? I'll abide by the rules.
Well, that's just it. So we don't really have any. So
okay. So hold on. Let me.
Don't take the pick, man. Take it. That was fine.
No, he's not taking the pick. No.
Then move on.
Okay.
Let's go. What's your next pick?
So, I'm gonna go with Michael Elgin.
Where is he right now?
He's in New Japan.
He's in New Japan. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So that means that it is Darius. It is your pick.
All right. Big Wave Championship Wrestling's coming in with the 9th pick. And we're keeping heritage proper here. And I'm going to go with Tessa Blanchard. Tessa Blanchard will be my 9th pick to solidify my women's division.
Well, she has a great name.
Mm-hmm.
Give that to her. All right. So I was debating here because there's slim pickings on the ladies. I haven't drafted one lady yet.
I thought you were going to go with that.
I was, but I don't want to be criticized by feminists worldwide for not drafting a lady here in the fantasy draft. But the heck with it. I'm not going to draft one. So
Women hater.
Right now, look at here down at the roster here. You know what? I'm gonna do it. I've been heavily critical of this man, and I think we all have. But he does have some talent. I'm going to take Baron Corbin.
Oh my God! Throw away your draft.
I am going to take Baron Corbin. I mean, you can't. He's young. You can't let him slip away. I know what we think about him. We call him boring Corbin. He's not very entertaining. But in the 9th round, he is a value pick. I am taking Baron Corbin.
Does he have more talent or more hair? Which one is it? I mean, it's debatable about this.
Yeah, I mean, it's hair, clearly. But, you know.
I don't know. He's losing that, too.
This is what you call value pick at this point. Yeah. These are value picks.
Wait, so is this the 8th round or is this the 10th round?
This is the 9th round.
9th round.
This is the 9th round.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Shane. That went good for the 99th round.
You're on the back-to-back here.
Okay. I'm struggling here because I would like another tag team. I just don't know who the heck it would be.
The Good Brothers are available.
Mm-hmm. The Good Brothers.
Is that
hey, Darius, who is
the club?
Darius, who was that tag team that you picked? The last pick when it was just you and me. Who was that?
I don't recall. Did we do this before?
Oh, wait. Darius's pick. Oh, I gotta tell you guys this. Darius's pick, his last pick, because he was struggling to think of names. Darius picked the Singh brothers. That was his last pick. I had. All right.
Listen, 1.3 billion people. 1.2 billion people could be wrong.
I understand. He's trying to get that India appeal. It's 1 billion people in India, man.
I don't discriminate. We do not discriminate at the Laptop Professional Wrestling Federation. We don't discriminate. So we had to get all my peoples. And plus, I think Jinder Mahal comes by association, even though he's the world champion. I'm pretty sure that was a package deal. Don't worry about it. It happened in the past. Go ahead. Continue.
Oh, wait. So are we going to allow that?
No. That wasn't. No.
That's a rumor. That's a rumor to have occurred. Nobody really has proof.
I was mentioning. That's not my pick. All right. So my pick, I'm not gonna go tag team. I'll go this first. I am going to go with oh my gosh. I'm gonna go with Zack Sabre Jr.
I thought he got picked already.
No, I mentioned him when.
Oh, okay. I remember hearing the name. Yeah.
All right. So that's that. And my final pick.
Make it a good one.
I'm gonna go tag team. Get some comedy in the mix. I'm gonna go with Breezango.
Oh man, I was thinking about taking them. That's a good pick.
Yeah.
I was thinking about taking them. Yeah.
And I am done.
Wrestle, or are they just gonna do skits backstage?
Yeah.
Hey, it don't matter. You know, when they're ready to wrestle, the Young Bucks are waiting.
There you go. Okay, so it's my pick. So let me ask this question: if I do I get the package deal if I draft Billy Kay? Do I get Peyton Royce as well?
They have a name. They go by a name in NXT.
Team Boring.
No, they actually have like
they have
an actual name down in NXT.
I don't know. I just know they're always together.
You could have them. Yes.
No. Well, no. I'm straight. I'm not going to take them.
What's this? Hold the room.
It was just a question. I just curious.
Yeah, they're called the iconic duo.
The iconic duo. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But
So I'm
you're
actually thinking about. Yeah, I'm not gonna take him. I'm actually thinking about, since I got Rusev, I should just naturally take Lana, but I'm not gonna do that either. I'm gonna take Chad Gable. Ready, willing, and Gable as my final pick. I'm gonna take Chad Gable and complete what is clearly an anti-women's federation.
Well,
I know.
New Day will be there to do the female dancing for you.
There you go. Yeah, the gyrating. Yeah, there you go. They'll have that down. So yes, Chad Gable will be my final pick. I'm kind of regretting taking Baron Corbin, but at this point, those last two picks, they actually value. They're better than
Chad Gable pick.
I would have regretted taking Shelton Benjamin in the third round, but okay.
Hey, I was trying to be different. Okay, Shelton Benjamin is the man. He can wrestle. Okay,
he can got Brian Kendrick.
Oh no, not over Shelton.
That's the man with the plan.
Yeah, but clearly, I could have took a couple other people though, but it is what it is. Chad Gable, baby. Stokes Wrestling Federation is set. I think we got a great roster, man. Great roster.
There's Brown.
Okay, so I have of course, Minority Pro Wrestling Federation, which is sponsored by thevc.com. Check out the VC for all the latest news, insight, and interviews in the world today. So because you guys have been neglecting the minorities, I'm going to pick up the slack here.
Wait a minute. I drafted minorities. I just took Cedric Alexander.
You
the
did
Usos, the New Day.
Okay, that's 30%. Okay, all right, if you're okay with that.
Rusev's not white.
Just get to your pick.
Okay, now. Bulgaria.
Okay,
all right, so
my bad.
Before I was rudely interrupted, the Minority Wrestling Federation in the 10th and final pick will pick the Mac. And I'm not talking about Courtney McIntosh. I'm talking about
Willie Mack.
Yes, sir, Willie Mack. You know the name. You know the game.
Who?
And another
Are you
solid
serious? Pick. Willie Mack? I thought you were going to take Titus O'Neil.
Who?
Oh, man. So, wait a minute. If I take Titus O'Neil, do I get... Team Titus.
Do you get the brand, the whole brand?
Got to.
No, somebody already got.
Somebody already took Tozawa.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. But I do like their post Raw press conferences are pretty fun.
Yes.
Pretty good.
Yes.
Wait, Chael Sonnen is in GFW?
Yes.
I think he's on like a one night only appearance or something like that.
Yeah, because I'm looking at their roster. He's listed here.
Yeah, I think he's coming up.
As with Shelton Benjamin. Is he officially in GFW?
No.
Your picks are done, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, I'm just curious, man. Sorry.
No.
All right. Courtney, your last pick.
All right, so I have a question to ask before I make my selection.
Thanks, Stokes.
So if I draft Chris Hero, can I combine him with Cesaro to reform the Kings of Wrestling and then have another pick?
Yes, you can. Wait, did you
you would not get another pick.
Well,
he already has Cesaro. He already has Cesaro.
Correct.
So that's fine. If he wants to team him up, however his storylines would go, that's fine.
Right. He would not get an additional pick. What he's asking is if he drafts Chris Hero, do they automatically Voltron into a tag team with Cesaro? No, Cesaro is already a member of it. He is one half of the Raw Tag Team Champions with Sheamus.
He can do whatever he wants with his roster.
He can do whatever he wants with his roster, but it doesn't garner him an additional pick, is what we're saying.
Oh, is that what he's trying to do?
That's what he's trying to do.
Retro draft?
Yeah, because he's trying to say, Chris Hero is him and Cesaro at once upon a time were in a tag team together. No. They are separate entities at this point.
Okay. All right.
Like, we need down on this. Come on now.
So I am for the last pick for
This is Mr. or Mrs. Irrelevant. Go ahead.
I am going to take a team that I'm surprised Stokes didn't grab. I'm going to go ahead and take the Street Profits.
Oh my gosh! The Street Profits.
Yikes!
Crime Time 2.0.
They have one match which none of us have seen yet, and you're drafting them sight unseen.
They're getting hyped up pretty good. Their whole match is on dirt sheets right now, so I'm going to watch it after.
I've seen Angelo Dawkins wrestle,
and he is a boring version of D'Lo Brown with his double headbands.
Well, yeah, but with hey, whatever.
Exactly. Hopefully, the other guy is good. Is what we're hoping. But it could be like Jason Jordan was basically nobody till Chad Gable came around. So
correct.
This could be something.
You got to remember he had bad curls before Chad Gable came around.
Why y'all always hating on the mixed boys curls?
No, his curls were terrible, man.
I'm looking at the final this sheet here.
Tell me how good I did.
I'm liking Max. I'm liking Max promotion. The Shelton Benjamin and Demetrius's last two picks kind of threw me.
What?
Okay, I like Chad Gable. I would say it's Shelton Benjamin and
I was debating between Chad Gable. I'm surprised a couple people didn't get picked. I'm surprised nobody went with Johnny Gargano or Tommaso Ciampa. I thought maybe one of those guys would have got picked because I was debating between Gable, Ciampa, and Gargano when I was making that last pick. I should have tried to pull a Courtney and say, "Oh, could I reunite Ciampa and Gargano as as a tag team since they were once together?" But
I have textual evidence that I said current tag teams.
Yep, you did. I just did not see once you guys took like Ember Moon and Nia Jax, I was just kind of like, the only people left were like Emma and Dana Brooke, who I like Dana Brooke though. I do like Dana Brooke.
Or Carmella.
Who?
Liv Morgan or Carmella.
Yeah, I thought about Carmella. I thought about Lana for the valet thing to reunite her with Rusev, but I didn't want to waste a pick.
I mean,
you wasted it on Baron Corbin.
Come on, man.
Sure did.
Come on, man. Shelton Benjamin, I don't know why y'all hating on Shelton Benjamin. Like Shelton Benjamin cannot wrestle.
It was a high pick. Nobody was stealing that one. Yeah. But he was on my list, so I'm not hating that he's a top 40 pick.
Carlito, man.
That's right. Carlito's got skills.
You took Carlito. Carlito is fat. I just saw him on Instagram like two days ago.
In my franchise, in my fantasy franchise, we can turn off the weight, okay?
He looks like he ate Primo and Epico. He looks like he ate both of them to form the Super Cologne brothers. They've like Voltron into one giant brother.
I asked him to move up the heavy weight. Leave him alone.
The big cologne.
Oh my goodness.
Oh well. Hey, that actually was as enjoyable as I thought it was going to be.
Had I not drafted the Street Profits, I was gonna actually draft Naito.
You drafted.
That was a good pick.
Johnny
you drafted the guys you've never seen wrestle before for a guy apparently Shane cosigns.
Yeah, the guy that I wanted to be a nominee for Wrestler of the Year last year in New Japan, Naito.
Yes.
With the Street Profits.
No, the Los Ingobernables.
The Red Cup Boys, as they like to be
Red
called.
Cup Boys. Hey.
Oh yeah, this. I gotta check it. I gotta check out the little gimmick. I'm sure it feeds into every stereotype that there is known to man for the brothers. But hey, we'll check it out. But thanks so much for those that listened to episode 348 of the Hit the Ropes radio show. We'll probably have those fantasy results. Are we gonna post those anywhere?
We should. I mean, show my greatness.
And maybe let the people judge who built the best roster. I'm pretty sure Darius will not be in the running, but that's all right.
The greatest talent in the world on my roster.
You know, on the strength of the Carlito pick alone. But hey,
okay, you got Baron Corbin. You have no room to talk. He's not in anybody's top 100, homie.
The entire article is going to be all the different names Darius has named this promotion.
Yes, right. He's going to have 10 rounds, 10 different promotion names. All right, guys. Well, before we sign off for the evening, do you guys have anything to add, to promote, to plug? Besides the VC.com, of course, which everybody should be checking out. Including my latest story on you guys' favorite, LeVar Ball.
Ballin'. Nope. Just make sure you subscribe.
I gotta go eat.
Yeah, definitely.
Nothing.
Yeah, subscribe to us on YouTube. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. We're on Google Play. We're everywhere. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Hit the Ropes, Facebook at Hit the Ropes. I don't know if we still have Instagram, but if we do, that's probably at Hit the Ropes too. I don't think we do. Shane's waving us off. But be sure to check us out next week. Of course, we'll be back at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on next Wednesday. For Shane, Darius, Courtney, I'm the Stokester signing off. Everybody have a great night. Peace.